What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How was your day?
How was your week?
How is your life?
Going.
You like my pumpkin?
I like your
You
pumpkin.
like my pumpkin?
Is that your butt?
Isn't it cute?
I like
my
your,
butt?
I like your pumpkin.
You like my... You do. You liked it this morning. Shoot.
That's right, girl.
I'm getting it.
Before we get into that,
Oh.
make sure you guys go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. Share it with the people that you know. When you guys go there, you can see all the ways that you can follow us, ways that you can support the show. You can also download our resource list. If you give it a second, it's the first thing that pops up. And the resource list is sell it just like you did last week, babe.
Yes. Yes. So the resource list is a few books, a few audios, even some videos that we have used to help us improve our life, right?
Yeah.
And it goes from marriage to financing to parenting, just all that good stuff. We weren't just
Some
born
mindset
great.
stuff. Yep. Some mindset stuff, right?
Right. All that good stuff. Yeah. And that's our focus. That's always been our focus, just on how to become better people.
Yep.
Right.
And yeah, you guys can download the resource list. All you got to do is put in your name and your email, and you can download that for free. It's got links to all the YouTube videos and books, podcasts, all that kind of stuff.
Let's talk about that.
Talk about what?
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Okay.
Let's talk about you.
See, that's how we get off track.
But that's helped and that's improved
What's
our
that?
relationship, more sex.
Oh,
and it can
okay.
improve
I thought you were talking about the list.
too.
Yeah, it can.
But just self-improvement. Listen, it's a bitch. Like it is difficult.
Yep.
It's not easy. It is not for the weak.
Getting old's not for pussies.
Yep. Parenting is not for the weak.
Yeah.
Relationships are not for the weak.
Yeah.
Because there's so much that you have to do to continue to improve. First of all, you have to look at yourself. You have to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you were talking about David Goggins and
The accountability
his
mirror.
journey to this dude was weighing how much?
Almost 300 pounds.
300 pounds. And
He was trying to get into Navy SEAL training. And like in the military whenever you're trying to like join or go into some field or something, for something like that, like Navy SEALs, you have to be athletic and all that kind of stuff. So they have requirements. So for his height, his max weight was like 191.
right.
And he was at almost 300, like right at the door of 300.
And he was living a comfortable life. What is a comfortable life, you ask? You eat what you want to eat when you want to eat it, right? It's just comfortable. And he was living that life. And then one day, something just came over him.
Yeah.
And he made a decision that enough is enough. Like, this is it. And what he did was he looked in the mirror and
he called himself out.
really looked in the mirror.
Yep.
And was just honest with what he saw.
Yeah. It wasn't the bullshit that
And
you
it
tell
wasn't nice.
other people. It was the shit that you don't tell anybody.
Right.
The shit that you look in the mirror.
Yep. It's the thoughts you think about yourself. And it's funny because you and I in personal development, they have taught us positive affirmations, like looking in the mirror and just talking nice to yourself. But a lot of times, if you know that you're not being that person, it's like what my coach Steve says, it's putting frosting on dog shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And how are you ever going to improve if you're going to continue to lie to yourself? Now, the thing of it is that you can look in the mirror and be honest with yourself and make a decision to do what you got to do to make that change.
Yeah.
Now, during that journey and during that process, some people are motivated by different things. You and I are very different in how we motivate, how we motivate ourselves, right? Miguel motivates himself the way David Goggins motivates
not
himself.
always,
Looks in the mirror and like, you fat fuck. Right?
No, pretty much, yeah. But I mean, it is what, like, I don't bullshit myself. Like we were talking about, we'll get into a little bit more of it, but
yeah. But there's certain things that motivate, and I'm gonna just when I was running with you, we were running, and I don't like to run.
Okay,
I don't like.
That's a good one.
I don't like to run. I don't. I will strength train the shit and put myself through some pain, and I've been doing it lately, and I can do that.
Yeah,
because I want to do that.
It's funny
because that's what I want to do.
It's funny because we're opposites that way too.
Yeah.
Because I'll fucking go for, like, I'll do 10 miles, or I'll get myself to the point where I'm doing 10 miles, 12 miles. But like lifting, I was like, that fucking sucks.
And I love it. I love to torture my body in that way.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? But what I was saying, when you and I were running together, Miguel, because I did 4 miles with you, and that it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah.
But I didn't fucking like it.
But
therefore, I didn't continue doing it because I didn't like it. I'd rather torture myself like that in the gym. But anyways, so Miguel, we're running, right? And Miguel's trying to motivate me. And I think I told you to shut up.
Pretty much. Yep. I was like, you got this. You can keep going. Let's go.
Like,
one foot in front of the other.
And I was motivating myself in my head, because I know how to motivate myself. Like, I know how to push myself in my own head. And it's funny because it's like when I was giving birth and I was going through pain and I was imagining my vagina being a flower. I was imagining. Yeah. You didn't know that?
I didn't know we were going there.
You didn't know that?
Fucking all of a sudden left turn into your vagina.
So my vagina started off as a rosebud.
Yeah.
But in order for me to have these kids, I had to blossom. I had to open up. I had to give in. So I was imagining my vagina as a rosebud blossoming to its fullest. Exactly. And not only that, but I was having to talk myself, like, this is what our body is made to do.
Yeah.
No matter how much discomfort you feel, you're going to be okay.
Yep.
You're going to be okay. And that's where I was. And so that a lot of times is how I motivate myself. Like, that's the type of motivation. I don't think of I'm not thinking of my vagina as a rosebud while I'm running.
But you go to the experience of childbirth.
If I can surpass that pain and give birth to 2 children naturally with no drugs, I fucking got this. You got this.
Yeah.
And that's how I was motivating myself when I was running. Yeah. So when you were like, baby, you got I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm giving birth right now. I told you that.
Yeah, pretty much.
I told you that.
Oh, no. You know what else it was? It's because I had music playing too.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, listen, we were at like different parts because of our
discomfort
because I was running and you were joining, like, I was running on a regular basis and you were joining me for a run.
Right.
So you were at a point where, like, I can understand if I was at that point where I'm exhausted and I'm thinking about stopping, I probably wouldn't want somebody talking to me and all that. Like, I'd be thinking about what I want to think about when I'm trying to get through that shit. But I wasn't there where you were at. You were like, and I'm like, come on, babe, you got it. And you're like, shut the fuck up.
Right. But let's bring this around.
Oh my God.
That's life. That's life, you guys. Like, when you're going through some tough shit, it's surpassing. It's finding the power within to get through it. But if you don't know how, if you just don't know how to get yourself there, that's when coaching, like hiring somebody, looking into some audio books, downloading a resource list from Opposites Attract podcast, and listening to some shit that's going to fuel you, but only you know how to motivate you. But it takes a lot of self-reflection and just being honest with yourself. Like, damn, I'm sick of debt. I'm sick of, every time I go out, and I'm swiping my card for shoes that I don't need or a purse that I don't need, and if that's been a habit, to break that habit, it's going to take self-discipline.
Yeah.
Or if you've been, in a relationship and your scapegoat has been cheating, right? There's probably more behind that, right? Healing that needs to be processed. But a lot of times it's like looking in the mirror and saying, you're a fucking piece of shit of a boyfriend or of a girlfriend. Like
you've been fucking up.
And coming clean and forgiveness and all that other stuff that comes along with that. But it's just taking responsibility and taking ownership. And a lot of times when we're going through some tough times, when we've been in a cycle, right? Or maybe it's just been your life, right? Like maybe you grew up, in poverty. And maybe you grew up, with a mom and dad that didn't have a relationship. And now you're living that life, and now you want out. It has to hurt enough, I think, in order for you to wake up, right? Like it has to hurt enough. Like you just have to get sick and tired of being sick and tired and saying enough is enough. And that's what David Goggins did. And that's what we did.
Yeah. And at a certain point, like, I don't know what the point is, but
of this conversation?
No, not of this conversation.
I'm like, really?
I'm saying in a person where, like, up to a certain point, it could be like the life that the hand that you were dealt.
Right.
And you're just living it. You don't even know better. But at a certain point, it doesn't matter all the shit that you went through, because you're an adult and it's your life. Mm-hmm. And you could either like always go back and think about these excuses and all this shit that happened and be like, well, that's why my life's all fucked up.
Right.
At the end of the day, nobody's going to come and save your ass.
Right.
So it has to get to that point, and I don't know what that point is, where it's just like, I don't give a fuck what happened in the past, whatever my parents did to me or whoever did to me or this thing that happened, I need to fix all this shit for myself.
Right. No one's going to throw you a life jacket. You've been wearing the life jacket.
And sometimes people will come and help here and there, but the majority of the work is going to be on you, and you can't expect anybody to come and help. Right. That's just what it is.
And sometimes, too, you are ignorant to the situation. Like, it's like, like your inner God, that inner voice has been tapping on your shoulder. But sometimes we don't want to hear that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's comfort. It's a feeling. It's an emotion.
It's comfort.
Yeah, it's. So the voice of comfort is the enemy.
Because the thing
that
is
voice of comfort.
The thing is that even things that aren't good for you, well, of course, things that
it's easy.
They're comfortable.
Right. It's easy. Yeah.
But there's things that could be bad for you, like bad for your life, that you're comfortable doing because you've been doing it for so long.
Right.
And it's going to be uncomfortable to do the things that are good for you.
Right. We're going everywhere with this.
But speaking of, like, you were talking about the accountability mirror and all that kind of stuff. And you were saying, like, how I don't, like, I really, when I think about how I'm doing or whatever, like, I'm really, it's not like I'm mean, but I know what I'm doing. If I fucking put in an effort, I don't feel bad. And I know that I put that effort in.
There you go.
And that's the end of it. Like, I fucking know inside myself,
right,
you did what you were supposed to do.
Exactly.
That's fucking good work right there.
Right. Yeah.
But when I know for myself that I didn't fucking do the work, I'm not going to bullshit myself.
Right. Let's talk about that comfort zone.
So what I wanted to ask you about, like, this tournament that Joey and I have coming up, it's been one of those things. And I think no matter what happens in the tournament, like I was talking to you, the tournament already did its job. What I wanted from signing up for this tournament was just to get back on track.
Get back to being healthy.
Get back to being healthy, get back to training, just being more active.
Right.
Because it all, everything comes back around. Like,
Right.
you know, if you're starting to train, then it's like, you know what? Hey, maybe I'm not going to train today, but how about we go for a hike? Or how about we
Right.
go ride some bike? Or how about like just stay active? It's all
Right.
fucking good for you,
Yes.
you know? But I know inside that there was a lot more that I could have done. That I'm not exactly where I should be for where I need to be for tomorrow. I did well. I mean, I've lost almost 20 pounds since the beginning of August. So it is good. But I'm not going to bullshit myself. You know what I mean? Like, I feel for my last tournament, being honest, I was way more prepared for the last one than I was for this one. But at this point, the way I see it is like, whatever happens is going to happen. I'm not going to fucking die from it. I'm going to do the best that I can. And I'm just going to fucking keep this thing going. Maybe I sign up for another one. And that just keeps the focus just like, hey, let's go. Let's go. Just stay on top of it. Don't fucking lose track and just go completely off the fucking rails. Because that's the thing is, if I sign up for the next one, it's not going to be as hard as this. Because I had to come back from nothing, almost.
Mm-hmm.
It's just keeping it going a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I've been feeling about this one. But I wanted to ask you, like, how do you feel? Because I know when I get into stuff, sometimes I drive you a little fucking crazy. And you sometimes, like, say, or it seems like you feel like I get a little extreme with stuff. And I think I was maybe for the last one. But what do you think about these last couple months that have been coming up to it?
I think you're fucking nuts. No, I'm just
Still? I'm still fucking nuts?
I know. It's not, baby. It's not that you wouldn't. Okay. This is why you would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes. It's not that you would drive me crazy like, oh my God, he's fucking losing it.
It's the only thing he thinks about.
That can be annoying because I'm practicing being present. And like on the dinner table, when you come back from jujitsu, I could tell that you're not with us. You're not present. You're still thinking about the moves that you should have done.
Right.
When you were at jujitsu. But that was right after. But you are there a lot. And that's okay because you're focused. You're doing something.
Right.
But to train yourself to be present is so freaking empowering.
Yeah. I think it's good.
But the
Yeah,
thing
go ahead.
of it, just
Yeah, go ahead.
when you get on your grind and I'm not fucking ready to get on my grind,
It's annoying.
it's annoying. So what do? I get on my grind because it helps me.
Well,
It
you know
helps
what
me.
got me on my grind? You getting on your fucking grind. So I don't want to hear shit. This all started because of you.
Yes, it did. It did because I decided I was going to hire a coach. And I started working on myself.
Yeah.
And I made the decision that, okay, there's no bullshit. Like, I know that when I get up at 5:30 and I go to the gym, I feel so good. I feel accomplished.
Yeah.
And so I know me and I know my voice of comfort, right? And I decided that that's what I was going to dedicate, like that's what I was going to focus on. Kind of like you focusing, you're signing up for this tournament to get yourself back to where you need to be. Because it's almost like it's accountability. It's a commitment.
Yeah.
So you know that you have no choice but to get ready or else you're going to get the shit beat out of you.
Yep.
Me, I'm having to do that on my own. I didn't sign up for anything.
Yeah.
But it's like, I know what we pay a month for this gym, you know? So it's like, I know that I have to continue doing what I need to do in order to get to where I want to be. And now I focus more on, like, I've always talked about getting on, like, becoming a part of what do they call those? Like the bodybuilder kind of deal.
Like a fitness, like physique competition
Right.
type of thing.
And that's something that's always been
You've always
within
talked
me,
about that.
right?
Yeah.
It's all, and I build muscle quick, like no joke. Like
Yep.
I build muscle quick. but I haven't been eating properly. I haven't been feeding my muscle properly. I haven't been allowing it to heal. And so anyways, I'm learning about all of this, and I'm seeing the difference in how I build, and I do build quick, and it's something that I want to do. So it's like, well, I'm still nervous about doing it because now I met 2 individuals who have that experience, who actually train individuals and who want to help us. And so it's kind of like,
does it make you uncomfortable?
Did you see me shifting? I'm like, you know, and the reason why is because you're in front of a shitload of people in a freaking bikini, and there's nothing to fucking hide from. That's the most vulnerable spot.
You know what I could
put myself in.
You should look one up in the future.
I know.
I'm just saying, when I was signing up, I knew what I was doing, and I had that fucking feeling.
Ugh, yeah,
it's like
it's do or die.
Like once I fucking hit enter with this credit card information, that's it. It's fucking on now. You know what I mean?
But the whole thought behind that too, and I don't know if this is just me like giving myself an easy way out. I don't think it is though. I don't even care if I win.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's just signing up. It's just, you're going to do the thing no matter what.
Right. It's getting in front of that room and being that vulnerable.
Right.
Like that in itself for me
okay. Let me ask you something.
Is an accomplishment.
Let me ask you something.
What?
If you sign up for that, let's say you sign up for it and it's coming up December 3rd, right? And you're where you're at now. What are you going to be thinking about from now until December 3rd?
There's no way I think I could lean and build that quick.
Or okay, maybe not. Okay, let's say February.
I would need like 6 months.
Let's say February.
Like I'm pretty
March.
sure that's how long they give you. You know? I don't know. I would have to put myself in that. I can tell you that
the closer you get
position.
to it, it's probably going to be one of the only things you're thinking about.
I don't know. I'm pretty good now.
That's what you think.
Dividing my time and being where I need to be in that moment.
Sign up and then tell me. Sign up and then tell me.
Anyways, we're fucking everywhere. But the whole point of this conversation is
being uncomfortable. Doing things that make you uncomfortable. Look, one thing that...
And focusing on becoming a better you, whatever that means. You know?
Like we were talking about, like a lot of times the things that aren't good for us are things that we go to that make us feel comfortable, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know, we've been talking about it a lot lately. It's just humans, period. It's like we constantly look for the most comfortable path to wherever.
Right.
Everything needs to be cushioned and padded, and we want everything easy. But man, like that just makes everything so much. It's crazy because you want everything easy, just makes everything so much harder.
Yes. And this book that I'm reading from Steve Chandler, it's called Reinventing Yourself. And he talks about, he asks where joy comes from. Where do you think that comes from? And he's like, have you ever
you
heard
asked me that, and
someone?
I got it right.
Yeah, I'm like, have you ever heard of someone writing a book?
What do you guys think?
About
where does it come from?
Living in their comfort zone. And if you have, it's probably comical, he said.
Dude, I'm going to choke you one of these days.
Right?
I talk to you about all this shit all the time, and then you start bringing it up when somebody else says this shit. I was just talking to you about this like a week ago when I was at work.
Don't be pointing that finger at me.
I'm just telling you. You, right there.
I got a place for that finger.
Damn it.
But he talks about the feeling that you get when you feel accomplished. When was the last time you hit a goal that you set?
Yeah.
And that's where growth occurs.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that, you know, like maybe I have been playing safe, because I can't remember like the last goal that I set for myself. Oh, actually, it was probably in Trust Inc.
Yeah.
And I freaking surpassed it. Right?
Yeah.
But it's going through the obstacles. It's almost, it's like a jiu-jitsu fight. You get beat up and then you win at the end. No. Like you get challenged. You're in such a tough, vulnerable spot and winning. But even then, like I told, Joey, it's not if you win. It's about giving it 100%. It's about sweat and tears and
black eyes.
Black eyes. But that's what life's journey is about. And when you go through that and you give it all you got, that's where joy comes from.
And you really got to think about like life in general, the shit, it just does not stop. Like, do you, like, if for anybody listening, do you really think that for the rest of your life, there won't be any major events? Like, you're just cruising till you die? No. Some shit's going to happen. Right. And you're going to have to figure it the fuck out. That's just life. So, to run from being uncomfortable when the only thing that is guaranteed is that challenges are coming your way. It's just going to make your life harder if that's your mindset. And
it's not easy. I mean, when you think about our relationship, let's talk about this. This is a relationship podcast because it's you and I, right? And we are in a relationship. No.
Jeez, you fucking worry me when you start talking like this. I have no idea what the fuck's coming up.
You guys don't understand. He never knows what. I never know what I'm talking about. No.
What's up?
Or what's listed. Because this stuff, I don't even have it on my list. It's just coming up.
Yeah.
But in our relationship, I think the reason why we respect each other and are in love with each other and are so grateful for each other is because of the things that we accomplished together. From the get-go, our relationship was tested, was it not?
Yeah.
From the relationship, from the beginning, we had obstacles that we had to overcome.
Yep.
And the longer we stayed with each other, the harder the obstacles got.
I mean, from the very first date. No, not the first date. The first date was perfect, which, that's what happens. The first one goes perfect. You're like, yeah, this is going to be. And then the second one was a little different when I met the family for the first time.
Oh, right.
When I got to meet Southside Sonja that night. We got into a slap boxing fight in the middle of the street.
Shut
what I'm saying? Keeping it real. I'm like, this is it. This is it.
They're going to want to know more about that. Anyways,
so yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Keeps it real. Anyway.
Keeps it real. So from the beginning, and like I said, I mean, just you guys have been a part of this journey with us, right? We've been podcasting for a little over 3 years now.
You guys have heard it.
And just recently we talked about, our infidelity that occurred. I mean, we brought it up here to you all.
Yeah.
And we have been doing well.
Yeah.
We have been able to surpass that.
Yeah.
And I think that even with that coming to light, we knew that wasn't going to break us.
Yeah. And I think that's why we also had the reactions that we had when we were talking to each other about it, Like it's hard to talk about no matter what, but I think we both still felt like we knew that we were going to be okay.
Right.
And
I think that people, when things start to get tough, they check out of the relationship.
But the thing is that just like everything, just like that situation where we had to like confess to each other, if
we
you think
didn't
about,
have to, we made a decision.
Well, exactly. That's a good point. That we didn't have to.
Right.
But that was the thing that It's like everything else that you know you should be doing. But when you don't do the things that you should be doing, you fucking feel bad all the time because you should be doing those things.
Right.
And when you finally do that, you get some relief.
Right.
And you can move on, or you feel good about what you finally did.
Right.
The accomplishments that we were talking about.
Right.
You know? I think that's what were you taught? You were asking, like, where does joy come from?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Joy doesn't mean that you're not going to do like hard things. It may come from those hard things.
Right.
Like, and that's what I told you. It's like, it just, the only way that I can think of, like, when you really feel good is when you feel accomplished. You know, like with the kids, when somebody says something, it's a good feeling of accomplishment for us.
Yes. I was just going to talk about that.
Right?
About parenting and where the joy, where that comes from, you know, like when you're going through a hard time with your teenager, you know, and you are fighting and you're fighting, you know, for your relationship, and you start looking for answers. So you start reading the parenting books, you start, you know, asking people that have good relationships with their kids, what have you been doing? What books have you been reading? What advice can you offer me? Because I'm having a difficult time with my teenager and I'm not connecting with him or her, and I feel like I'm losing her. It's allowing vulnerability to come through, because a lot of times we feel so bad because we feel that we're not being that good parent or that good person, you know, that good wife or the good friend. So we're keeping all our hard truths inside. Do you understand? Because a lot of times if you feel that that something's going on with your parenting skills or something, you're ashamed, you're embarrassed, so you're keeping that within. But if you talk, you know, if you're willing to just speak your truth to someone and say, hey, I'm having a really hard time.
Well, you got to have those people in your life too.
That you trust.
People that you can trust in, that you know you can talk to about that stuff.
Right.
And that leads perfectly into our website. If you guys want to give us a call, and if you guys have a question or something that you would like us to talk about, because I mean, the truth is, like, you think about all these different people's lives, not everybody has a circle like that. And you know what? Not to fucking, I mean, listening to this may be a way to change your way of thinking. I mean, it's helped. Podcasts have helped me change the way I think about stuff.
For sure.
Books have helped me. And when you don't have a good association around you, use that shit to change your mindset.
That's a good point.
So that you can change your associations.
Yes,
you have to do it somehow. And like we were talking about before, nobody is coming to save your ass.
Right.
You need to do it yourself. Yep. And if that's the problem, then your mindset needs to change so that your associations can change.
Yes.
And our resource list can help change that too. So go to our website, and when you go to it, you'll see the resource list pop up like we talked about before. You enter your name and email, and you can get that there. You'll also see that the ways that you can follow the show. You can follow all of our social media. You can watch the show there. You can listen to it there. And actually, before we move on from this first part, I wanted to, because we talked about this a couple nights ago, and you know, we enjoy recording this podcast, and it's great to be able to share our story, and then sometimes we'll get messages back from you guys, and it's nice to hear that, you know, people relate to the things that we talk about,
right? And
that something that we said maybe helps somebody or made them think about something a little bit differently. And one thing that I know is that we are at the mercy of everywhere that we put our media out, our podcasts, the videos, all of that stuff. We don't own any of the social media platforms. We don't own any of that stuff. So if you guys, for some reason, when podcasts, when things start to get big, they start getting attention, and that's not always a good thing. They start blocking stuff. We've already had a podcast blocked on one of the
don't mention what
services.
It's about, just saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you guys want to make sure that you can stay in touch with us, the best way for you to do that is to download that resource list, because then we'll have your email. And if something was to ever happen, if they take us off of any of these platforms, we'll be able to get a hold of you, and we can open up somewhere else, and you guys can continue to follow us.
So in order for you to download the resource list, you have to put in your information, your first and last name, and your email. And that's what we get. And so if something were to happen to the podcast, we have an email list,
Right.
And as long as you fill out that form for the resource list, we got your info.
Yep. Because I've even seen it where some smaller channels or whatever, I mean, just barely getting to the point where they can get by doing what they enjoy doing. And they almost got shut down to the point where like the dude had to go back to work, you know, and that's got to be tough, you know, to think that you have something. So anyway,
well, we have a friend who had like 1 million followers on, you know, on Twitter, and that happened.
Yeah.
And she don't know, and she got kicked off. Like she can't even see anything.
And the truth is, you guys know all about that already.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have seen it happen to people before. So make sure that you guys, if you guys want to download that resource list, send us that information and we'll be able to stay in touch with you guys. Also, if you guys want to support the show, you guys can click on the support the show tab on our website. That'll take you to our Amazon link. You can find our t-shirts, pop sockets for the phone cases, stuff like that. You can find it on Amazon. And when you click that link, anything else that you buy on Amazon doesn't cost anything extra, but it'll help out the show. We get a little kickback. And you'll also see a link to Trust Inc., which is our signing company.
We are you want to do it?
Go for it. All right, I'll do it.
Trust Inc. is a mobile notary and signing agency. So if you are in the process of purchasing, selling, or refinancing your home, you can request Trust Inc. to be your mobile notary or signing agency.
That's right. And if you want to go to Trust Inc. directly, you can go to trustinkusa.com.
There you go.
And
if you would like to buy us a coffee,
there you go.
You can go to, or alcohol beverage, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/opposite-pod.
There you go. And we're also affiliates with Pinwheel, which is the best smartphone available out there for kids. I'm sure you guys have heard about it before if this isn't your first podcast. But if it is, it has GPS tracking. You can log all the text messages. You see everything that's coming into the kid's phone. All the contacts have to be approved so you know who the kids are talking to, and you approve all the apps that get put onto the phone. They don't have an app store to install apps, and a lot of the apps that are addicting are not available for the phones, like TikTok and all the other social medias and all the games that keep them addicted, wanting to level up and get the new skin. They don't have access to all that. All they have is access to apps that make them better, that can teach them stuff like Duolingo, languages, and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys want to know more, you can go to pinwheel.com, promo code OAPTEN, all together, all in caps, and that'll give you 10% off of a Pinwheel phone.
There you go.
All right. So you were just talking about fighting for stuff. Or you were kind of relating like being uncomfortable and achievements to jiu-jitsu and all that stuff. And there was something that we were watching. There was a movie that we were watching not too long ago. And it was The Matrix.
Oh, yes.
And there's a part in The Matrix where Neo, the main character, Keanu Reeves, he meets Morpheus and the other people, and they take him back to like the real world, right? Because the Matrix, the life that he lives isn't the real world. It's like a system. I'm sure you guys, spoiler alert for the fucking movie from the 90s. But so he goes to like the real world, and it turns out that they could just like program him to like pick shit up, right? Like if you want to learn something new, they have a thing that they can hook up to the back of your head and just upload a new skill, right? So Neo is supposed to be, he's the main character. He's supposed to be saving the world. So in order for him to save the world, he's going to need a lot more skills. So they're going to start teaching him how to fight and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that he said, or like they put it on the screen, like they're uploading something and he sees it and he's like, I'm going to learn jujitsu? Like he asked the guy and he's like, yeah. And then they start uploading shit. And in that moment, like I was thinking, if somebody could just upload jujitsu into my head, would I do it? I don't think I would. Because it's just, especially like, well, jujitsu is not something that ever ends. It's a martial art that there's always new things coming. But man, like I part of what makes jujitsu what it is getting the shit beat out of you and getting better.
It's the journey.
It's those achievements. Like if you could just get fucking uploaded jujitsu, then
doesn't that sound fun though?
But no, there goes all of your achievements.
Right.
Because now that you have jujitsu, now you can just go beat the shit out of everybody. It's not even a challenge.
Right.
So what fucking fun is that? I mean, I guess it's fun, but no. The fun part is when you've been struggling and then you succeed.
That's where the joy comes from.
You know, it's fucking crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy when you think about that.
That's what we fight the most.
Yes, is the journey. It's the challenges and the obstacles before you get to the win, before you get to the accomplishment, before you get to, you know what it is. That's what life is. There's so many lessons, and it's weird because I think of it as different levels. Like that,
there's levels to this shit.
Yeah, like there's different levels, you know, and when it's time to move, you are going to feel very uncomfortable. You're going to feel like a piece of shit if you're not doing what you need to do. You're going to feel, if you fight it, the more you fight it, the more depressed you get, the more anxiety you'll get.
Yep.
And the healing comes with just saying yes, making the decision, and then you start taking the actions.
Yeah.
Right? The action to whatever that is. If you're wanting a healthier life. And it's like you're going to pay for it. Like you just are. You're going to pay for it either way.
If you want to turn your career around. If you want to, whatever.
You know, with health, when you get older and you don't take the necessary changes, you're going to pay for it. And it's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
Your life is not going to be as long as it could have been. You know, like there's so much to this game of life.
Yeah.
And the only difference between someone that's happy versus someone that is sad is the person that is happy made the decision to accept the obstacles, to accept the challenges, and to start making different decisions and taking different actions, right?
Yeah.
It's just moving forward, doing it. And it is hard. And at times it does suck, right?
Yeah.
Not that it sucks. It's just hard.
It's not what we're used to.
It's challenging.
It's uncomfortable.
You know, because at times it does feel it's easy just to be comfortable. But I'm telling you, the voice of comfort.
It's always easy to just go back to doing what you've been doing, which may be nothing.
It's like the other day. You may have had the day off, and I needed to be at the gym at 5:30.
Yeah.
It's starting to stay darker, right? It's darker because, you know, winter's coming around, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just more comfortable to be in the bed. And I heard that fucking voice of comfort loud because now I'm paying attention to it. I'm paying attention to it. And that voice was like, ooh, this bed feels so comfortable. I open my eyes, but it's still dark outside. Still dark. You have your hubby right here. Oh, this feels so good. And I felt myself fucking melting into the mattress. I'm like, ooh, this feels so good. Yes. Yeah. And then here goes the other voice. Bitch, get up. Okay, I'm up. Like for reals. I'm like, because I recognize that voice, the voice of comfort. Yeah. And I'm like, you are not stealing my day. Not today, Satan. You're not stealing my day today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. I was listening to that David Goggins book, Can't Hurt Me. I've heard him talk about, like, he would sit there and just stare at his running shoes, like for hours.
What?
For like 2 hours, and then like eventually just like fuck it and put it on. But I think eventually he got to the point where it's just like when you get that feeling, you put the shoes on and just fucking go. But
that also begins with being aware of your thoughts.
Yeah.
And knowing that comfort voice.
And it might begin with staring at your shoes for 2 hours.
Right.
But you eventually, I mean, yeah.
And so as we're going through this, we're teaching our kids.
Yeah.
You know, you have to accept discomfort. You have to accept pain, like not being comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, we were just talking to the kids yesterday because we have our nephew over and we've been kind of spending some quality time, like family stuff and going for a little hike and
bike
riding
around
stuff
the
like
neighborhood.
That.
So beautiful.
And Audrey, like you guys know, she's playing softball and she's getting serious. And I can't remember exactly what we were talking about, but we were talking about this exact thing. It's like doing the things that are uncomfortable that you don't feel like doing. And we were given the same exact example. It's just like waking up and the bed is nice and warm when you're supposed to get up and go train.
Yes.
You know, but if you want to be a starter, if you want to really play, you can't just go to practice Tuesdays, Thursdays, and that's it.
Right.
Because they don't have a spot for you. Mm-hmm. That's just being fucking honest. And I've talked to you about it, and like, I'm okay with competition. You know, like, you got to compete. I told you I've always competed for whatever. And it's a good attitude to have. You know, it's like if you really want to play, you're going to have to beat people out. And that is the bottom line. And that's why sports are so great. Because it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter, you know, the bodybuilding thing. Mm-hmm. None of that shit matters. Like maybe at the highest levels where you can get the best doctors and all that shit. But a lot of times it doesn't fucking matter. Because the best are the ones who play, are the ones who do shit. And it all has to do with effort and how much you're willing to dedicate to it. You know? Right.
I don't know if you saw that post that I put up, but it's like so many people pass away with their song still in them. And Joey's like, what does that mean? They didn't sing their song?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but what if, like, this is it? What if,
yeah,
I don't know if we want to get into that, but it's just like, what if this is it? What if there is nothing after this life and you played it safe and you decided to give into that voice of comfort and you didn't live out your life because you thought that there was an afterlife?
Yeah. But one thing that, like, without moving on to like the afterlife right now, when you are doing something difficult, like let's say you went to the gym for the first time for the entire week straight, right? Maybe you decide that you're going to take Saturday and Sunday off, or you're going to take Sunday off. But for that week, you went the entire time. Mm-hmm. How do you feel on that day off?
Sore.
No, but inside.
I feel good.
You probably feel sore.
I feel good. No,
you feel accomplished.
Yes.
And
I feel good.
How does that help for Monday?
Because I'm going to remember how I felt. And I do exactly what you're saying. I do exactly what you're saying.
And I think that can give people hope that haven't fucking started shit yet. That it's gonna, like, you do get a good feeling, but it's gonna take getting to the end of the week. Like, just stay disciplined for a little bit and you'll get a small win.
Yes.
You know where I get that in jiu-jitsu too. When you're getting back into it and you get put in difficult positions, there's times, like in jiu-jitsu, there's something where somebody could just put you in such a bad spot that you submit, that you tap. They're not actually choking you and they're not actually breaking anything, but you're just in such a miserable place that you're like tied up that you don't feel good and you tap. A lot of times in the higher skill levels, people don't tap to that kind of stuff. It's because you're uncomfortable that you tap. Now, when you start practicing more and you're doing it consistently, you get to that point and you know, I'm not in danger here. I'm just uncomfortable. Just fucking hang on a little bit longer.
That's giving birth.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Just hang on a little bit longer.
Yes.
Get up to your fucking knees and try to pull your arm out. Like something. Do something. And then maybe it still fucking ends with you submitting. But you hung on for a few more seconds. And now you know that you have those few more seconds in you. And then next time you can try and hang on a little bit longer. But when you're done, even though you got submitted,
right,
you still fucking lost.
Right.
You feel okay. You're like, you know what? I fucking hung in there when I didn't think I could.
Right.
And then you do it again and you build on that shit.
Yeah, I use that even when it comes to eating healthier.
Yeah.
Because I'll take myself back to how I felt the following morning if we say ate a hamburger and fries and a shake, and I wake up feeling groggy and I feel like crap. I'll hold on to that feeling and use it when I want to eat something that I shouldn't eat.
When you look in the mirror, like, what'd you do last night?
I don't even have to look in the mirror. You feel, I feel the difference.
Yeah.
But like last night, a lot of times we stay out. When we tap out, we stay out because of the shame and the guilt and the everything that we're feeling because we messed up, because you gave in to that comfort voice. And now you just keep beating yourself up instead of saying, okay, I fucked up. I messed up. Okay, moving on. Right? Like last night, you and I, like, I've been doing well. Like if I want to eat a little this, a little that, like I'm going to eat it, but there's a balance. Like I know, because I'm lifting really heavy these days, that it's okay to have some. Like last night I looked at you and I'm like, I want fries from McDonald's and I want a cone.
Yeah.
And you're like,
let's fucking go.
Let's share.
Yeah.
Right? Let's share a fry and let's share a cone.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was okay with that because I know today, like after this podcast, Audrey, well, I don't even know if she's going to be able to work out with me, but we have everything we need here to work out. And I know that we're probably going to go bike riding later on, with the kids.
We're going to training.
So it's like, okay, I'm not going to beat myself up. That's what I wanted. I didn't overdo it, but I'm going to, continue working out and continue doing what I'm doing. And that's okay.
Yeah. Let me ask you. So, but if this is, like you said that you wake up in the morning the next day and you ate the hamburger and the fries and you feel like you can feel it and you're like, I know I fucked up. Right. But if that's your lifestyle, if your lifestyle is a healthy lifestyle, did you fuck up the night before when you ate the hamburger and fries?
No.
If your lifestyle is going to just be a healthy lifestyle for the rest of your life.
No.
You didn't fuck up by eating the hamburger and fries.
No.
And if you're getting started on like trying to change to having a healthy lifestyle, it's okay. Even if it's in the beginning, if you messed up, you messed up, but don't give yourself a hard time about it.
Right.
Because we also have a friend right now that is trying to do some things, right?
Right.
And we've done it before. We beat the shit out of ourselves when you make a mistake.
Right.
But like last night, even if we got 2 fries and 2 cones, it wasn't a fucking mistake. If this is going to be the lifestyle, it's okay.
Right.
It's not a big deal.
Right.
We're going to go have sushi on Sunday. We're going to cheat. Like it fucking that's part of life.
Right.
The problem when you fuck up is when you have the hamburger and fries.
Right. And then you feel bad about it. So you give up.
You don't go to the gym.
There you go.
And you have another hamburger and fries.
There you
and
go.
then you skip the gym the next day and maybe you start going, stop going.
Right.
That's when you fucked up.
And you throw in the towel and you're like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
That's when you lose. That's why I tell Joey, it's like, listen, baby, the only way to lose, to fail, is to quit. Why are you giving me those googly eyes? Where do you?
No, because I love it. You'd be dropping gems on this thing.
But it's true. Like that's the only way to lose in life.
Yeah.
Is to give up. And if you've given up. If you're giving up. Because where depression comes from is giving up. It's quitting.
Yeah.
Anxiety. All of that. All of those feelings that make you feel like shit are coming from quitting. If you want to fix it, you can decide today.
But you have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah. Yep. And forgive yourself. So you have to be hard on yourself. But then you got to forgive yourself and love yourself, and it's okay. And then make the decision
Yeah, you were just saying something a little while ago about like things that you should do, and then like when you don't do them, you feel like shit, right?
That's right.
And you were also telling me a couple days ago that you were reading something about like that should.
Yeah,
what
that
was
word.
What was that about?
It's that book that I'm reading right now. It's Reinventing Yourself, and he says the worst word of them all is I should have.
Why
I
is that?
should have went to the gym. I should have, because of the feeling you get when you say it. Think about it.
It's the
If
worst?
you didn't go to it, it's what leads to all the other negative emotions and quitting. Because if you, I should have went to the gym this morning. I should have had that hamburger.
You see, but okay.
I should have.
Yeah, I get how that can give you a negative or like not a good feeling.
Right. It takes you through a rabbit hole.
I get, but doesn't that depend on the person?
Versus changing and doing.
Yeah.
Forgiving.
But doesn't that depend on the person? Because some people will like, oh, you shouldn't have ate that, or you should have went to the gym, and you should have. And at a certain point, it's like, well,
that brings guilt.
I should have done. Yeah, you do. You feel guilt. And it's like, at a certain point, it's like, well, at this point, like, what's the fucking point? Fuck it. And you quit, right? But I think that depends on the person, doesn't it? Because I think a lot of you should have done this, you should have done that, and I feel like shit about it.
And then you do it.
Eventually, sometimes it's the motivation to fucking go do something, you know?
Yeah, it depends on
I don't know
what motivates you. But a lot of times, it takes you into a dark hole. Because you keep beating yourself up about it. You keep beating yourself up about it.
Yeah.
You know, instead of just saying, damn.
Maybe you should have
tomorrow
when you're on the path. I don't know. Yeah, it's different.
But think about, so with you though, this is where it's just different, because for me,
that's why I tell you, just people are
different. I should have went to the gym. Man, I shouldn't have ate that freaking fry that cone. And I continue to beat myself up. Oh, I just may go down that dark hole.
Let me give you an example. I signed up for a tournament in December. There's one in December. And I have a tournament tomorrow. And it doesn't go my way. And I know why. I should have fucking trained harder. I should have ran more. I should have worked out more. I have a tournament coming up in December. You see what I mean? Like, that's not...
You're different, though. Most people, a lot of people will give up on themselves before they even sign up for the next tournament, because they're used to beating themselves up so bad.
And that's where I think you just got to fucking lean into the discomfort. The shit that you know is you don't want to do.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying you have to know yourself. You do. You have to know yourself. And words are they can be empowering or they could be disempowering, right? Like words can give life or they can take life.
But that also depends on the person.
Exactly. So,
and the types of words.
You have to know yourself.
Yeah. Freaking crazy.
You know,
this was a big ass general podcast, wasn't it?
No, we talked a lot about
a lot of different things, but it was
based on the same thing.
That's freaking funny. Man.
Anyways,
so yeah, make sure that we really enjoy doing this podcast and sharing everything with you guys. And like we were talking about before, I think we're getting a little bit more focused. You've been working on the podcast too.
Yes.
You've been editing?
I started editing. Hey, once I get it down, I'm going to like it.
Yeah.
There's just so many steps to it. You guys have no idea like how much time and effort goes into this podcast. And I didn't understand all of it as well because I just showed up, made you guys laugh and brought some, The
camera will be up. The lights will be up. You sit down.
I'm like, here I am. And now that I've been taking some time off, I'm like, well, I want to help relieve some stress with you. And I want to know
how to do it.
because I felt like I would enjoy it. I just didn't believe that I could do it. Because
Really?
you made it look very complicated.
Yeah, but now you've done it. Is it complicated?
All the different steps, I told you to write
Yeah.
them down for me because it has to become a habit.
Yeah.
I have to continue to do it
It's not
over and over
complicated,
again
it's just a lot
in
of
order
steps.
to remember all the different steps.
Right.
Because every platform is different. Anyways, you guys, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
That goes into building this podcast. So,
But it's been cool. It's been cool
Yeah,
having you helping with the and it's also nice to have like a different, because I see everything through my lens and like what I'm looking at, and it's cool to like get you to, you know, check out the podcast and do some of the editing. And
so you guys don't forget to go to our website, download the resource list so that we have your information. And if you guys would like to support us, don't forget to go to buymeacoffee.com. Also,
I think we
we
were
have
talking-
our merch, and that's something else that I want to get better at, because I want to come up with some cute, funny shirts for you all. So, I mean, there's so many ways, you know, for you guys to get involved.
Yeah.
You know, like if there's a shirt that you, or a saying that maybe we say often that we're just not picking up on, and you're like, oh, this would be a good shirt for you guys. We would love to hear from you guys.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so
that'd
you
be cool.
guys can call us or leave us a voice message.
At 480-331-9846.
Yes,
Yeah, I think we
yes.
were talking about that earlier, but I
Yeah.
don't think I gave out the number.
And in order, repeat that number again.
480-331-9846. You guys can call us and leave us a message. You can let us know how we're doing. We can play your questions on the podcast. You can be anonymous if you want.
If you
So,
guys have
yeah.
a question about our relationship, or, you know, something
Or
maybe
whatever.
that you're going through and you want to see if we have any experience in that situation, just give us a call. Let us know. Leave us, you know, a voice message, and you know, we'll be happy to answer that question for you live.
There you go.
So, anyways,
That's it.
we love you guys. Thank you for your support, and thank you for watching Opposites Attract podcast
Where we get better.
together.
Bye.
Bye.